out your straps, and then pull that leg in for a stretch. Shoulders are shrugging down out of the ears. Your abs are tight and pulled in. Focus on a deep breath up high in the rib cage. The lower leg is reaching longer. Now hold on with that strap or ring and drop the leg out to the side. Keep your hip bones facing the ceiling, lengthening the back of the neck. Pull on that strap a little harder too if you can to increase the stretch. And when you're ready, bring it up to the ceiling and cross over the center line, keeping the hips down. Pull it in a little deeper if you can. Bring the leg right back to center and we'll do the same thing on the other leg. Always keeping a deep breath up high in the rib cage, lengthening the back of the neck. Shoulders are shrugging down out of the ears. When you're ready, drop the leg out to the side. Still keeping the hips facing the ceiling. Take one more deep breath, and when you're ready to bring it up, we'll cross over the center line, still keeping the leg long and straight. Hold it a little deeper. When you bring the leg right back to center, you're going to go ahead and get rid of the strap or ring. Have your knees bent with feet flat onto the floor. Now rock your pelvis back so you feel the imprinted spine, and then rock your pelvis forward so you feel that arch form in the low back. If you wanted to, you could put that ball between the knees to see that ball. So if you have a ball, squeeze it between the knees, and then keep going with the pelvic tilts. Rocking back into the imprint, rocking forward so you arch. Rocking back and forth. I want you to finish with the low back pressing downward into the floor for the imprinted spine. Press your toes into the mat and then lift the hips up. So you come up into the bridge, press the arms into the floor, take a deep breath, and then slowly roll the spine back down until you rest. Take a deep breath. Exhale, lifting the hips again. Hold the hips up high, squeeze the ball a little tighter, and then rolling all the way back down. We'll do one more bridge with both feet on the floor, lifting the hips. Reach your arms long too. Take another deep breath up high in the ribs, and then slowly rolling down. With the hips on the floor, you're going to hold it. Still squeeze that ball if you have it. It's okay if you don't have the ball. You just keep your knees in line with your hips. Extend one leg just straight. Keep your thighs parallel. Keeping one leg straight. We're doing the single leg bridge. So lift the hips up, take a deep breath, and then slowly roll the spine down, keeping that leg long and straight. We'll do two more in the single leg bridge. Lifting. If you have the ball, squeeze it a little tighter, rolling down one vertebrae at a time. And you have one more. Exhale, lifting up. Hold at the top for an inhale, and then exhale, rolling back down. Go ahead and switch legs. Same thing on the other side. Squeezing the ball, lift the hips. Hold the hips up high, take a deep breath, and then slowly rolling down into your rest. Always think pulling up on the pelvic floor too. Still trying to narrow the waistline, pulling the belly in, rolling back down. We have one more bridge with the single leg. Lifting up, reaching out of the hip for a longer leg, and then rolling back down into your rest. Now take that ball and put it between your ankles. If you have the ring, you can use the ring if you prefer to do that instead. We're gonna try to squeeze that ball or ring between the ankles. Legs start off at tabletop. Keep them at tabletop as we do a couple ab curls. Upper spine curls up, you look into the belly, reaching long arms, and then rest on head and shoulders. Exhale as you curl up. Inhale, you rest back down. The whole time you're drawing the navel in. Reach long arms, shoulders still shrugged down. We'll do one more. This time you're going to curl up and hold it. So arms are reaching long. Let's stay up because we're going right into the 100. Lengthen legs out to straight and start pumping the arms. Inhaling for 5 counts. Exhale for 5. Try to squeeze that ball or ring a little tighter. Reaching longer arms. Shoulders are shrugging down out of the ears. Try to get the legs longer, point the feet, reach through the toes, and if you can, get the legs a little lower. Remember, if you needed to, you can always bring the legs higher to the ceiling or back into tabletop. Inhaling for the 5, exhaling for the 5. Keep the arms moving fast. Keep the shoulders shrugging down. Inhaling for 5, exhaling, forcing every ounce of air out of the lungs is your last 10 count. After you exhale, hold everything still, curl up higher, reach longer, and then you can finally rest back down. So grab onto that ball with your hands. You can squeeze it between your hands, or if you have the ring or weights, you could hold those instead. Arms are straight to the ceiling, your legs are straight down onto the floor. We're doing some roll-ups. So legs are long, straight, feet are flexed. Head and shoulders come up, come all the way up off the floor, and stretch out over the legs. Stack your spine up to straight, and then roll back down to the floor. Arms finish at the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, peeling your spine up off the floor. Stretch a little further. Stack up tall, and then rolling back down. Glue the inner thighs together. Pull up on the pelvic floor. Peeling up one vertebrae at a time, and then rolling over the legs. Stack up tall and straight, and then rolling back down. We're going to do one more roll up. We will finish on the floor again. Stacking back up, shoulders still shrugged down out of the ears. Once you get back down to the floor, you're going to stay down there on the floor. Okay, to bring your hands down by your side and get rid of the ring or ball if you have it. We're going to do leg circles. So one leg goes straight to the ceiling, the other leg stays straight on the floor. Remember, you could always bend that knee if you needed to. We start a circle. Inhale as you start, exhale as you finish. And you're making the biggest circle possible without changing the position of your pelvis or the low back. Inhale as you start, exhale as you finish. Still pressing the arms into the floor, so lengthening the back of the neck. Keep that lower leg tight and strong. Do one more. When you bring that leg to the ceiling, you're gonna hold it, flex both feet and go in the opposite direction. Inhale as you start the circle, exhale as you finish. Longer arms reaching, shoulders still shrugging down. Don't let that lower leg get lazy. Keep it tight and strong. Do one more circle with that foot staying flexed. When you bring it to the ceiling, grab on and pull it in for a stretch. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So start with pointed feet, both legs long and straight, and then circle in either direction. Always focus on a deep breath up high in the rib cage. Don't let that lower leg get lazy. Still keep it a working leg. Still long arms, shoulders shrugging down, lengthen the back of the neck. When you bring the leg up, you're gonna hold, flex both feet, and go in the opposite direction. Remember to cross over that center line without moving the pelvis. Longer legs reaching out of the hips. Keep your arms still strong, pressing downward into the floor. You have your last circle. When you bring that leg to the ceiling, grab on and pull it in for the stretch again. Now bend both legs, bring them to tabletop. We're going into the ab series here. So legs are at tabletop, curl up, look into the belly, hug one knee into your chest, other leg lengthens out to straight, and then you switch. Let's go. When the leg reaches long, force air out of the lungs. Remember to tell your upper back to work hard to shrug your shoulders down out of the ears. Draw the navel in deeper. Do one more stretch out on each leg. Bring them together and hold them together. Both legs reach forward, arms extend back, and you come back into a little ball. Inhale as you open up, exhale, come back to center. Try not to grip into your neck. Shoulder blades are always slid down out of the ears. Squeeze the inner thighs together, pull the belly in deeper. Inhale as you open up, exhale, pull back to center. Do your last one. When you come back into the little ball, you're gonna hold it. Kick one leg to the ceiling for scissor kick, other leg falls to the floor, and then you switch. If you wanna deepen the stretch, do this with flexed feet reaching out through the heels. Remember not to grip into your neck. Still keep that upper back working hard to keep the shoulders down. You have one more full set, and then you're gonna bring the legs to the ceiling with pointed feet and then rest on head and shoulders. Arms are down by your side, glue the legs together, and then lower and lift the legs. Lower on the inhale, lift back up on the exhale. Still pulling the belly in, still lengthening the back of the neck. Squeezing our thighs together. You have one more lower and lift, and then you're gonna bring the legs to tabletop position. Fingers are laced together behind your head, curl up, look into the belly, and then twist. Good, shoulders still shrug down out of the ears. Try to twist a little further if you can. Keep elbows wide too, so not wrapping around your head. Let's do one more rotation on each side. And when you come back to center, we're gonna stretch. So lengthen your legs down onto the floor, reach your arms way back overhead, and stretch through your abdomen. We're gonna do a roll up again. So arms to the ceiling, your legs are together, onto the floor, legs are together and straight. Remember, you could just hug your knees in your chest and rock yourself up to seated if you want. Otherwise, bring your head and shoulders up and stretch out over the legs again. Now stack up to straight. We're gonna, if you have a ring, squeeze it between your hands. You can use a band to pull apart, weights in your hands if you want. But if you have the ring, just reach straight arms and press it as hard as possible. Sit up tall, and you're gonna twist to one side, face center, twist the other side, and face center. That's good. Keep pressing into that ring or ball. Try to grow taller. Hollow out the abdomen. Exhale when you rotate. Inhale, face front. Do one more twist on each side. And when you come back to center, you're going to hold that ring, sit up tall, pull the belly in, holding that ball too. If you have the ball, just squeeze tighter. Doing little lifts with one leg. Little tiny lifts. Try not to lean back. Pull the belly in deeper. Keep the arms strong and working hard. And go ahead and switch legs. Little lifts on the other leg. Then when you're ready, go ahead and relax the legs. Here, if you have the ball, put the ball between your knees. But if you have the ring, you're going to keep the ring in your hands. So either one is fine. I'll do a little bit of both. So I'll start off with the ring. If you have the ring in your hands, your arms are reaching, you're squeezing it. If you have the ball, put it between your knees. Your knees are right in line with your, well, actually knees are together, but if you have the ball, the knees are right in line with your shoulders. You're gonna roll back to the shoulders and then come right back up for rolling like a ball. So if you have the ring, the arms are not holding you in the ball. You have to stay tight and strong. Good, squeeze a little tighter. If you have the ball, you can put your hands on the shins and focus on just squeezing the ball. You could do the reaching arms too with the ball. It looks like you're already doing that one, Sally. Good. Squeezing a little. Because Anastasia's got both, the ball and the ring going. So squeezing everything a little tighter. Pull the belly in. Just do one more. When you come right back up, you're going to hold and just balance there on your hips behind the sit bones. Now rest your feet to the floor. If you have the ball, keep the ball between your knees. Get rid of the ring if you have it, because we're going to do reaching arms and open up across the front of the chest. So keep the feet on the floor, keep squeezing that ball between the knees. As you fall, you're rotating to the right. Look out over that right hand, come back up, and we're gonna go to the other side. Fall back and twist, and then come right back up. Squeezing that ball a little tighter, and make sure you're keeping both feet on the floor. Inhale as you fall back, exhale, pulling back up. Draw the navel in deeper, your shoulders are shrugging down out of the ears. Do one more on each side. You do want to finish to the left side, so you'll start on the right. When you come back to center, hold it. Now this time we're going to fall back into reclining position and stay there. So tuck your tail up and just fall back and hold. You can keep your arms reaching here, but if you can work it a little bit harder, bring your hands behind your head. Now you can just stay here and hold, but if you're ready for more challenge, you're going to twist your rib cage from side to side. So squeeze the ball, keep your feet flat to the floor, keep elbows wide. Remember, you're still pulling up on the pelvic floor, still pulling the transverse abdominals in deeper. Do one more twist on each side. And then when you come back to center, you can come up and take the little break. Since you guys have the ball, take the ball behind your rib cage, and we're going to extend backwards over it. So it's right behind those low ribs, hands behind your head. If this felt too low or too high, you can readjust the ball, but fall backwards and stretch. Good. Breathe into the rib cage. You can feel that stretch through your abdomen. Now we're going to do a couple extension and flexion exercises. So if you can, roll down a little bit so the ball is a little higher towards the shoulder blades, hands behind your head. You drape back into the extension, and then you come right back up into flexion, trying to lift your head and shoulders away from the floor. Falling back on the inhale and pull up on the exhale. Good. Keep those hands behind your head, elbows wide, and you fall back into the extension and come up into the flexion. When you come back up, try not to jam chin into your chest. Think about lifting your face up towards the ceiling when you lift. Falling back and then pulling up. We'll do our last two. You can always stop early if you wanted to. When you come back up, you're going to use your abs to pull yourself all the way back up. Lengthen your legs to straight. You can get rid of the ball, and we're just going to do reaching arms. With your legs straight, they are about as wide as your mat. Arms are out in front of you, shoulders shrug down, tighten the legs, pull the belly in, pull up on the pelvic floor, and spine stretch forward. Upper spine flexes forward, and then you step right back up. Deep breath as you go tall. Exhale forward. Hollowing out the abdomen, shoulders still shrug down out of the ears. Forcing every ounce of air out of the lungs. Not moving the pelvis, not feeling the weight change on the sit bones. Stretching forward and stack up. When you're up, we're going to stay up and you can relax the arms. So let's roll over to our side. You have the option of having the ring if you want to. I think I'm going to balance on my elbow today. So when you come down the center of your mat, line yourself up. You have the easier option of bringing the legs forward slightly to help with the balance. If you can, prop yourself up onto your elbow, balance on that lower hip, and then you're going to point and flex. You want to keep that long line through your spine, always trying to lift the waistline up away from the floor. Pointing as you lift the leg, flexing as you lower. Keep that lower leg tight, strong working leg. Shoulders are shrugging down out of the ears. Always be aware of that lower shoulder so it doesn't grip up into your neck. Pulling the belly in. Good. 2 more lifts, pointing and flexing. And then you're going to hold that leg at hip height and draw little circles. Keep pushing the floor away through the elbow, shoulders still shrug down, pull the belly in. Think of that lower leg as your anchor. It's hard to stay balanced. Keep lifting the rib cage to the ceiling. Keep circling that top leg, but then we're going to reverse it. So when you're ready, flex the foot and change direction. Reaching out through the heel as though that leg is being pulled out of the hip. Keep that lower leg still tight and strong. Still taking deep breaths up high in the rib cage. Now hold the leg about hip height again, flex foot still, and then you're going to swing the leg forward and back. You're trying so hard not to move anything in the upper body. Keep the lower leg tight and strong, flexing forward, pointing back. Losing my balance. Stay strong in the shoulders, pushing the floor away through the elbow. We have 2 more kicks. And your last one. When you bring the legs back together, go all the way down to the floor. If you want, you can use your ball or ring between your ankles on this one. That's optional, but if you don't have the ball or ring, just squeeze the legs together. You're all the way down onto that lower arm. You're going to lift both legs and then drop the legs. If you can challenge your balance, take that hand over the hip so it's not on the floor helping you. Good. Still pulling the belly in, still pulling up on the pelvic floor. Good. Squeeze the ball tighter. And this one, I want you to lift and just hold and squeeze little pulses, kind of you squeeze, release on that ball. Remember, shoulders still shrug down, lift the legs a little higher if you can. And then you can finally relax. Let's go over to the other side. We'll start with the point and flex. Line yourself up so you're down the center of your mat, but you can always bring the legs slightly forward to help with the balance. Lift the waistline up, point as you lift the leg, flex as you lower. Tell those inner thighs to work hard too when the legs meet together. Pointing and flexing, inhaling and exhaling, reaching up through the top of the head. Don't let that lower leg get lazy. Keep it tight and strong. Good, 2 more lifts. Then you're gonna hold that leg at hip height, pointed foot, and draw small circles. Still rolling the shoulders down and back. Think about every muscle group is working hard, constantly doing that full body scan. Now flex the foot and go in the opposite direction. Reaching out through the heel. Don't let that lower leg get lazy. Pull the belly in a little deeper. Keeping that foot flexed too. You want that feeling being the leg getting longer, being pulled out of the hip socket. You're going to keep the foot flexed and at hip height as you kick forward and then swing back. Trying so hard not to move the upper body. Keep that lower leg still a working leg. Staying balanced. This one's so hard to stay in control. We'll do one more forward kick, last kick back, and then bring the legs right back to center. And I think we all use the ball on the other side. But remember, you just keep the legs together if you didn't use the ball. Lay all the way down. Stay stacked on the pelvis stacked, and then you're just lifting the legs up and down. If you don't need that top arm on the floor for balance, take it over the hip. Squeeze the ball tighter. Draw the navel in deeper. You're still working your upper back too by pulling the shoulders down away from the ears. Think longer legs, pointing the feet, reaching through the toes. Let's lift both legs and just hold it and squeeze little pulses, like you're trying to pop that ball. Little pulses, squeezing tighter, stay balanced, still breathe. Do one more little squeeze and then you can finally relax. So get rid of the ball and then you're gonna roll onto your belly. We'll do our little swan, big swan, and some swimming. So elbows are tucked by your side, shoulders shrug down out of the ears, the legs just get to be lazy, kind of still long and reaching back through toes, but don't lift the legs. You're lifting the rib cage up, and then you lower back down. Pulling the belly in, lifting the rib cage, and lower. Keep the neck in neutral too, so you're not lifting the chin too high, shortening the back of the neck. Hopefully when you lift up, you feel your abs stay tight and pulled in and not pushing downward into the floor. We'll do one more little swan lifting using your back, and then you rest back down. Now the next one, your hands do get to press into the floor, but we start the motion by using your back to lift, and then hands push down, you come up, and then we'll lower all the way back down. Deep breath as you come up, and then exhale, lowering back down. Hollow out the abdomen, still long legs reaching back, and lower. We have 2 more. One more deep breath up high in the rib cage, extending, and then lower right back down. So lengthen both arms, reach them long, lengthen the legs back, lift everything up, and then start swimming the arms and legs. Getting those legs up as high as you can. Shoulders still shrug down out of the ears. Still breathing. Try to get everything a little bit higher if you can. Remember to not grip into your neck. Shoulders are always slid down. Now go ahead and hold everything still. Lift everything a little higher. Now if you can keep your upper body lifted like this the whole time, keep it. Or you're gonna bend both knees, squeeze the heels together, and now do little pulses with the legs. So the legs lower and lift, lower and lift. Meanwhile, your upper body is still lifted. Your arms are still strong and reaching. Your abs are still tight and pulled in. Still focus on that deep breath up high in the rib cage. Do 2 more lifts of the legs. And then you get to finally take a break. Let's pick up your hips and you can go to a little child's pose stretch, or you can roll back onto your back and hug your knees into your chest. Either one is fine. Okay, we're gonna come back to seated. When you're sitting on this one, we're gonna go into leg pull. So your legs are gonna be straight out in front of you and they're together. Hands are back behind your hips. Hands are wider than your hips. Of course, they're outward at an angle. You're gonna point your feet, squeeze the legs together and lift the hips up. You could keep your hips on the floor if you don't wanna lift them up. Now try to, keeping your hips elevated, try to lift one leg up, lower down, lift the other leg up, and lower down. Keep pushing the floor away. Exhale as you lift the leg. Think lifting the chest higher to the ceiling, taking that deep breath up high in the rib cage. Do one more lift on each leg. After you drop your hips back down, we're gonna fold forward over the legs and stretch. Let's flip around and do that in reverse. So leg pull front, you flip around to what looks like the plank, and we'll do it this way. Wrists are right underneath your shoulders, legs are straight back behind you. Push the floor away, shoulders shrug down. If this bothered the wrist and you had enough of it being on your wrist, you could do this on your elbows. You could just lift and hold the plank too. You do not have to do the leg lift. So as you are in this plank position, you gotta stay in that straight line from shoulders to heels, pull the belly in, reach back of the head to the ceiling behind you, so you're not bringing chin to your chest and looking into the abdomen. Hopefully you're still breathing. Do your last leg lift, and then you can go ahead and sit back to a little child's pose if you want, or just stay on all fours. We are gonna go into those kneeling leg kicks next. So that little stretch there after doing that, little breather. We're gonna have yourself on all fours, wrists underneath shoulders again, and knees underneath your hips. Curl the toes under, lift the knees about 2 inches off the floor. You could just stay here, hold, and take breaks if you need it, but if you can, we're gonna add the leg lifts. The leg lifts this time of the bent leg kicking up and lower down. Kick the bent leg up and lower down. Keep your neck in neutral, so you still get that feeling of reaching back of the head to the ceiling behind you. Still pull the belly in, shoulders are shrugging down out of the ears. You can do one more kick on each side, and then when you're ready, you can go ahead and sit back to your heels, go into a little child's pose stretch. And we are gonna go to kneeling and do the thigh stretch. We'll do a little bit of that, so if you needed to, you could do the seated version where you just hinge in the hips instead of the knees. If you can, stand tall on your knees. Your arms are gonna reach out in front of you, so if you wanted to, you could hold the weights of the ring or the ball. I'm gonna go with the ring. So stand tall on the knees, pull the belly in, and then hinge back from the knees. Inhale as you fall back, exhale, pull forward. Squeeze that ring a little tighter, pull the belly in deeper. Still activate those inner thighs, like you're trying to squeeze the legs closer together. So take the deep breath up high in the rib cage. Let's fall back and hold it and stay there if you can. And then we're just gonna move the arms. The arms lift and lower while you stay in the hinge. Pulling the belly in, pull up on the pelvic floor. Do your last one, and then you can come forward. Go give your arms a little break. We're coming back onto our back. So come to seated, and let's roll back onto your back. When you're on your back, lengthen your legs down to straight onto the floor, and we're gonna work towards teaser. We're gonna do a single leg lift and then alternate. So arms start straight to the ceiling. If you had small weights, you could use those in your hands, but shoulders still shrug down out of the ears. Head and shoulders is gonna come up off the floor, and as you come up, one leg lifts up. Hold up here, take a deep breath, and then lower all the way back down. We'll do the same thing with the other leg. So alternate, lifting up, hold at the top for a deep breath while you pull the belly in, and then lower all the way back down. Trying to move slow with control. The slower you move, the harder you work. And resting. Try not to grip into your neck. Good, all the way down. We'll do one more set of the single leg. Hollowing out the abdomen. Imagine you're wearing that tight corset around your waist. This will be your last one. After you're down onto the floor, we'll stay down there and just hold for a breather. We're gonna go into the full teaser. So glue the legs together. Remember, head and shoulders come up first, and then the rest of your spine, your legs follow. So take a deep breath, head and shoulders up, and then exhale, everything lifts up. Hold up to up, take a deep breath, and then slowly roll down one vertebrae down at a time. Hopefully, shoulders and heels land on the floor at the same time. Take a deep breath, head up first, and then everything follows. Hold to the top for a deep breath, and then slowly rolling back down until you rest to the floor. We'll do it again 2 more times. Exhale, lifting. Hold to the top, breathing, and then rest back down. Good, last one, we'll make it a good one. The hardest, draw the navel in deeper, squeeze the legs together, and then you get to rest all the way back down to the floor. So reach your arms way back overhead, lift the rib cage, stretch through your abdomen. Bring your hands back down by your side. Make sure you move down your mat enough to where you're not going to kick anything behind you like a wall or a piece of furniture. So your legs are going to go straight to the ceiling, and we're going to go into rollover. Flex the feet with your legs straight overhead to help deepen the stretch. Since you guys are coordinated, so you're going to pop right into it, we're going to add some variation with the legs. So just keep the legs together as you bring them overhead. Hold yourself into the rollover as you open legs shoulder width apart, and then slowly roll your spine right back down to the floor with those legs shoulder width apart. Once your hips are down, keep the legs shoulder width apart and roll into the rollover again. Once your legs overhead, glue them together, and then slowly roll your spine down, keeping your legs glued together the whole time your feet are flexed. We'll do it again. Legs are together as they go overhead. Legs move apart. Slowly roll down. Legs are only shoulder width apart. Keep them apart as you go into your rollover again. Hold the legs together in your inhale, and then exhale, rolling your spine right back down until you rest. Keep the hips on the floor. We're going to go into jackknife. So take your deep breath in, exhale, legs overhead. Inhale as you jackknife up, toes reach to the ceiling, and then exhale, try to roll down without your head and shoulders coming up off the floor. Laying your spine right back down to the floor. Flex the feet, legs come overhead. Inhale up, reaching those toes to the ceiling, and then exhale, rolling your spine right back down to the floor without your head and shoulders coming up. We'll do one more. Flex feet, roll over, jackknife up, reach those toes high to the ceiling, and then slowly roll down out of that jackknife with your toes still reaching to the ceiling. That was good. Keep your hips on the floor, flex the feet again, your legs are straight. We're gonna go into corkscrew, so we'll start off easy. A little tiny hip lift at the top, and then draw your circles down and around for a full circle. Bring those legs back to center, draw the legs down and around in the opposite direction. Keep your shoulders pinned to the floor. Keep your arms pressing downward into the mat. Glue the legs together and try to do this with the straightest, longest legs possible. Even flexing the feet helps deepen the stretch in the back of the legs and helps make the front of the legs work harder. Draw the navel in. Do one more full corkscrew. So it's just a circle in each direction. And then after you finish with those legs right back to center, we're gonna do one more here with these legs up in the air. Point the feet, press the shoulders down, and pay attention where your low back is right now. Some might be an imprint, some might be a neutral. If you want to work the muscles in the low back a little harder, rock your pelvis so you're more in a neutral position. You feel that natural curve in the low back. Arms stay pressing down, drop those legs to a lower angle, and then you're gonna crisscross your ankles. So open the legs, cross the ankles, open legs, cross the ankles, while you're not letting the pelvis move and not letting the low back change position from where you started. So press the shoulders down, lengthen the back of the neck, reach longer legs, pointing the feet. You can do one more on each side. And then when you bring the legs together, you get a rest back down. Just hug your knees in, give yourself a little break. We're gonna make our way up to seated, go into our mermaid, and then into some side bends. So for mermaid, sit in your Z sit. You could sit crossed Indian style, or you could sit with both legs straight out in front of you. Wherever you start, you want to keep your pelvis in this position. So you're going to take the reaching arm way overhead, fall over and stretch, and then come up, tip your rib cage to the other side. Deep breath as you go over. Exhale, pulling up. Let's fall over on the next one, add a little rotation. So you fall, twist, look at the floor, twist back, and then come back up and stretch. Swing the legs to the other side. The same thing on the other side. When you're ready, falling over, shoulders still shrugged down, feel that deep side bend stretch, and then stretching over into the legs. Deep breath, breathe into the rib cage, always pulling the belly in. Now the third one, we're gonna add the rotation. So fall over, hold, twist, twist back, and then come all the way back up and stretch. Good, going into the side bend. So obviously stay facing this direction, just stretch your legs out. So your feet are at one end of the mat, top leg is crossed in front of the lower leg, and then your hand is up here at the top of your mat, but you could do this on your elbow if you didn't want to be on your hand. So when you're ready, you're gonna lift up, lengthen those legs long, and then go into that side bend stretch. Good, slowly lower yourself right back down to the floor. We're gonna do it again. Lifting up and stretch. Good, hollow out the abdomen. Let's lift up for one more. I'm gonna give you that extra challenge. Before you fall to the floor, you lift back up again. So you lower down, lift back up and stretch. Good, don't let yourself completely rest. One more. Really strengthen that lower shoulder. And then you get a rest. Let's swing the legs to the other side. Just make sure that that top leg ankle is in front of the lower leg ankle. Hand to the top, so we're down the center. Lift up and stretch. Good. Falling back down. Inhale as you lift up. Exhale, lower. Pull the belly in a little deeper. Lift up. This is where you go for that extra little challenge. Lower down, but don't rest. And lift back up again. Good, lower. And lift. Good, I already forgot if we did 3 or 4, but I figured 4 will never hurt, right? Especially if you're on your weaker side anyway. And then when you're ready, you can go all the way back down to the floor. Now sitting on the mat, lengthen one leg straight out in front of you, opposite leg is bent. So we're gonna do climb a tree, typically that reformer exercise. Grab onto the back of the bent leg, you're gonna kick it up, so it's our tree, bend it, kick up again, bend it, kick up and hold it. Walk your hands up that tree, pull yourself in, flex the foot if you can, shoulder shrug down. Now walk your hands down and you're just falling back about halfway and hang out. Hold here, you should be squared off facing forward if you can, let go of that leg, but keep the leg up, keep your lower leg a working leg, pull the belly in deeper, bring your hands back to that leg, walk back up and pull yourself in. You can go ahead and bend that leg. We'll switch it out and do the same thing on the other side. Sit up tall, kick, bend, kick, bend. Kick up and hold it. Walk your hands up that leg, shoulders shrug down, flex the foot, still breathing. Walk your hands down the leg, just fall back about halfway. If you can, let go, still breathe, shoulders down. Bring hands back to leg, walk to the top again, and pull yourself in. You can go ahead and bend the knee, but keep the leg bent. Keep the opposite leg straight, because you're gonna take the bent leg and drop it to the floor, and we'll do our twist. Sit up tall, and then twist towards the bent leg. Shoulders are shrugging down at the ears. Try to go taller and twist a little deeper. And you're gonna stay in the rotation as you fold into the straight leg. So take both hands overhead to that straight leg foot and sink into the stretch. You can come right back up and we'll do the same rotation and stretch on the other side. So let the knee fall to the floor, grow tall, and then twist towards the bent leg. Grow a little taller, pull the belly in a little deeper. And when you're ready, fold into the straight leg. Sink into it a little deeper. Then when you're ready, come right back up. Now both legs are going to be straight out in front of you. We're just going to do a stretch forward into the legs, and then we're going to make our way up to standing. But fold in for the hamstring stretch. Try to flex the feet too if you can, reaching out through the heels. When you're ready, you're going to bring yourself up to seated, so sitting tall. We're going to do a couple rolling like a balls, and then hopefully pop up to standing. I know we do this sometimes in the group class. So when you do the rolling like a ball part, make sure there's nothing behind you that you're going to hit. But come into your rolling like a ball. We'll do maybe 2 or 3, whatever you need to get the momentum. On that last one, you're going to cross your ankles and pull yourself up to standing. Inhale as you rock back. Exhale up. You can do 1 or 2 more. And then when you're ready, cross your ankles and then pull yourself up to standing. There we go. Now once we're standing, we're going to come to the back edge of your mat, walk out for some push-ups, and let's aim for 6 to 8 push-ups, and then we're going to come back to standing. If you can, give yourself that extra challenge today by standing on your toes like you're wearing those high heel shoes. Try to balance. Reach your arms up to the sky. I know you can't see my arms reaching, but lengthen your arms up, round your spine down, all the way down to get your hands onto the floor. If you need to bend the knees, you can. Walk your hands all the way out to the top of the mat. Good. We'll try to do our 6 to 8 push-ups. Bend the elbows, push the floor away. Bend and lengthen. Remember, every time you push the floor away, you want to feel those shoulder blades spread apart in the upper back. Use your breath to help you get through it. Pull the belly in deeper. The slower you move, the harder you work. After that last push-up, you're going to go ahead and walk your hands back to your feet. Remember, we started off wearing those high heel shoes. Pull the belly in deeper and try to stay balanced on your toes. You pull yourself all the way back up to standing. And when you're ready, you can rest those heels down to the floor. Step 1 foot forward. Keep both legs straight. Keep your hips squared off facing forward and fold forward into a straight leg. Still breathing. Shoulders are shrugging down out of the ears. Sink into the stretch a little deeper. And when you're ready, you're going to go ahead and switch legs. Flat back, straight legs. Stay balanced and lean into it. Hollow out the abdomen. Shoulders are still shrugging down out of the ears. Now for the next one, you can move into the lunge from standing if you don't want to put pressure on that back knee. But if you can tolerate pressure on that back knee, just bring it down to the floor. The toes could be curled under or flat, whatever feels better. But you're going to sink into a deeper lunge. So you have more of a hip flexor stretch. If the knee is up, you'll lengthen it back to straight. Either one is fine. Good. Hopefully you feel that hip flexor stretch on the front side of that leg that's behind you. We're going to switch it out to the other side. Good, leaning into it. Remember, if you liked the leg straight, always lift that knee up. Take one more deep breath up high in the rib cage. And then when you're ready, you can bring yourself out of the lunge. Sit however you're comfortable. You can stand too. If you're already standing, just stay standing. Shoulders up, shoulders down. Do a couple neck rolls if you need to. Release any tension in the neck. Hopefully your shoulders stay down and back all day today.